Well, hello everyone. I am Pastor Mike here at West Houston Christian Center, and I'll just welcome you to this episode of Living with Purpose. I'm glad to be with you, and I am honored to be able to serve with you. And I just hope that we can come together and we get something out of this message. I'm sure there's something for all of us within the word that God had given me to share with you. And I want to jump right into it because this week I want to talk to you about serving. And serving not only in your local church, but that's where my focus is going to be. But serving, I mean, just having a heart to serve. That could be in your neighborhood, that could be in your school, that could be in your university, that could be in your workplace. It could be anywhere you are. But today we're talking about serving in your local church. And I just want to share with you that when we serve in our local church, you have to look at it you have to look at it as you're actually sowing into someone's life when we serve. We're not here to get served. We are here to serve. It makes a world of a difference when you serve. If you're serving in a children's department, you are sowing into this kid's life. You are letting them know that, number one, that church is fun. Number two, they are growing in the things of God, all the way, whether that's from the super kids room to the junior high room to the youth room with the teenagers and high schoolers. You are sowing into their lives when you serve in any department of your local church. And most importantly, I just want you to know that you are helping our senior pastor. You are helping. He can't do it all by himself. He cannot greet you at the door. He can't make sure your coffee is prepared for you. He can't make sure the offering baskets get passed. And of course, bring the message and the sermon during the service. He can't do it all. He needs a team in which takes us stepping up, volunteering to serve, and bring our supply to the body. And that's what it's all about. We want to be a blessing in it as well. I want to look at it as sowing into another person's life. Just as for starters, I want you guys to understand that the hospitality team, they need help. They have areas where you can serve. Our praise and worship team on the platform, they're looking for musicians. They're looking for singers. Our ushers and greeters at the doors, they are looking for help. There's always room to help. Look at it like this. If we have a big enough team, you only have to do it like once a month, because we have others to alternate out and have a rotation where you're not serving every single Sunday. I'm not asking you to serve every single Sunday. I'm asking you to just bring your part. That way we don't have to rely on just one person or this one group of people to do it every single Sunday in a row. Although they have a servant's heart, I think having a rotation would be even better, because guess what? That gives them a break at times. So those of you that are serving, I say, man, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for serving and just bringing your gift to God's kingdom. Actually, I remember talking with a friend, Jonathan. You guys know Jonathan, and he made a statement where he heard somewhere where we treat church more like a cruise ship, and instead it should be treated more like a battleship. When a battleship, everyone comes, you have a responsibility, you have a duty, and we are ready to go to battle. We are ready for war, right? A cruise ship, you come and you just wait to be served. You expect great service, yeah. But I think let's get out of the mindset of treating it like a cruise ship, and more into a battleship. Like we are ready. Like bring it on. We are all assigned to a certain post and a certain duty, and this thing is going to flow with smooth sailing. And that's the way we should look at it. And if we look over at Luke 6:38, I want you to look at it like this. Turn with me to Luke 6, verse 38. Very familiar verse. Here, I'll paraphrase. It says, "Give, and it will be given back to you in good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Basically, that's what it's saying. So when you bring your gift, you bring your talent, and time into the body, the Bible says that it will be given back to you. Like sometimes we run around thinking like, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, I don't have. Well, bring your time. Give of your time here at the church. Give of your time. The Bible says it will be given back to you, so that you'll have time for the other things that you want to do. So you're sowing into someone else's life, especially because, trust me guys, there's going to come a time where you're going to need someone to sow into your life at some point in some area somehow. So I like to look at it like that. Serving, understand serving and being faithful in your serving. This is an area where you're going to increase where your increase in promotion comes from. All right. Take a look at this. I started West Houston Christian Center. I don't know how long ago. It was over 10, 12 years ago, something like that. I did not start behind this camera speaking to you. I started because I wanted to give of my time, and I gave of my time by talking to Pastor. I said, hey, Pastor, I have some extra time on a Saturday morning. What can I do for you? Guess what? I came up here and I mowed the lawn on a riding lawnmower. Well, that opened the door. Guess what? An open door came where it's like, okay, hey, we need some help in the children's ministry. Can you help? So I taught and assisted in the children's ministry. Then that opened the door to sound booth and the media, to which I still do today because I enjoy it. But here, God is saying, I trusted you with a little, just mowing the grass. Now let me see, because when he can trust us with a little, he'll start trusting us with more. So it was the media department. Then after media department, it was the youth department. Then after youth department, it was men's ministry. Then it was the associate pastor. And here I am today before you speaking and encouraging and letting you know that there is increase in promotion in your faithfulness in serving. I promise you, doors will begin to open, and this is not it. It keeps going and going and going. So just get the gist of that. When I walked into West Houston Christian Center over 12 years ago, like I said, I can't even sit here today and tell you what was taught in the sanctuary. I can tell you who greeted me at the door. And I can tell you how they greeted me. Guess what? That brought me back a second time and a third time. It was the ones that were serving that I initially met. That's what brought me back. It was so genuine and so authentic and so loving. When the door was opening to me, I was greeted with a hug. And most importantly, I've said this before, my second time coming through these doors at West Houston Christian Center, the greeter that was there the week before remembered my name the second time I came and greeted me by calling me my name. And it just blew me away. It amazed me, but it was all about the serving and someone just being there to greet me as a newcomer, coming through those doors. Serving, when we serve, we always serve with a joyful heart. You got to understand, when we serve with a joyful heart, I'm not going to regret having to serve. I don't look at it like, oh, I have to serve in the sound booth this Sunday. No, I was like, I get the opportunity to serve in the sound booth this Sunday. I look forward to putting on that black shirt, that media shirt. That's fun time. That's good times for me. So, I serve with a joyful heart. And guess what? Those that I'm serving with and around, also, I'm bringing joy to them. When I do my job faithfully and in an excellent manner, it's bringing joy to the person who's viewing. It's bringing joy to the person who's in attendance right there in the sanctuary. So we're all bringing our part so that we could be a blessing to others. That's what serving's all about. And most importantly, God gets the glory in the process of it. We're going to glorify the Lord. When I say I look for the opportunities to serve, I also thank God for the opportunity to serve. Like, Lord, thank you for, entrusting me to do this job in the kingdom. And I appreciate that. One of the first ways, I think one of the first things you must do when serving is, first of all, give God a willing heart. And give him your obedience. A willing heart, and then having the obedience to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and be on time, be faithful. God, now you're giving God something to work with. You know, God is looking at it like, hey, you have a willing heart to do that. I can work with that. And he'll meet you right there where you are. Look, when we started doing things like this, like, I didn't have any idea what a sound booth looked like. I'd never touched a knob or a button ever, and that's not the point. Because guess what? You're gonna have others already in there that's willing to help you because they're looking for someone to step up, take initiative, and say, hey, I wanna be a part of this body. We're looking for it. You know, so don't sit there in your chair waiting to be asked, like, do you need someone? No, take a step and say, you know what? I'm going to be a part of this because I know I have a gift in this area and I like to bring it. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. Let's look at Matthew chapter 20. If we can go there, I want you to look at something. Matthew chapter 20, let's go to verse 28 and take a look at this. Actually, back up to 27. And it says, and I'm reading out of the NLT translation, it says, and whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. When we say slave, we mean someone's willing and someone's humble. In verse 28 says, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus Christ. If we know this life of Jesus Christ, and Jesus always gave, he gave, which means he served. He gave of his time, he gave of his talent. He came to serve, and Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Alpha and the Omega, came to serve, not to be served. That's a different kind of king that we know of in this world. He came to serve and not to be served. And also, he said, well, you know what? Let's look at another one. I wanted to go over to, let's see, John. Let's look at John in chapter 13. And I'm not gonna read the whole chapter to you, but I just want to talk about it when we're talking about Jesus and in this serving that took place in his life. So John in chapter 13, we're talking about, it's talking about Jesus sitting down, you know, in the Last Supper with his disciples. And if you notice what Jesus did, he took a towel, wrapped around his waist, and got knelt down on his knees. And guess what he did? He washed the feet of the disciples. If we look at that right there in that verse, and if we kind of come down, like I said, I'm in John chapter 13, and let's go down to maybe like verse 14, and it says, and since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. Jesus is simply giving the disciples an example. As he served them, we are to go out and serve others. And we can serve people in many different capacities. But now we're talking about the local church. And when we serve in the church, it is bringing your supply, it's bringing your talent and your gift to the church body on whether you're good. If you're good at speaking, you'll be a great door greeter, you know, welcoming people into the house of God on a Sunday morning or whenever the doors are open at a church. If you're good with planning and organizing, you'll be great for the hospitality team. If you have a singing voice, the praise team will be looking for someone like you. If you play a musical instrument, the praise team needs you. So Jesus basically is just setting the example. He even says in verse 15, I have given you an example to follow, and do as I have done to you. We owe it to him. We owe it to him. He served us. During his time he walked this earth, he served, he gave, and we owe it to him. And he gave us the example. So you go out, we are made in his image, we are made in his likeness. If we're like him, then we are to do as he does, as he did, as he still does today. Oh, okay, look at another verse with me. If we go over to 1 Peter and we go into chapter 4. This is a good one. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. Look at this. God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. That you can't say it any plainer than that. God has given you a gift, and he says to use them well so that you can serve one another. It is not all for you. It is for the next man. It's to bless someone else. It's to bless someone else who's going to be needing that. You know, whether it's a word of encouragement, whether it's some of your time, whether it's a skill you have. Serve one another. Always be willing to serve someone else. Now, one more verse, if I could give you. If we go over to Matthew, I'd like to go over to Matthew and look in chapter 23. Chapter 23, verse 11, it says, the greatest among you must be a servant. The greatest among you must be a servant. You want to be considered great? Serve someone. So this is just a tidbit of information on serving, and I hope it encourages you to get a part, whether West Houston Christian Center is your church, or whether you have are member at a different local church. Find somewhere where you can serve. Find a department. I'm sure there are plenty of departments within every church. Find that department. Bring and let's be a blessing to someone else in the body that needs it. Everyone should be serving. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.